Now, another thing that could be a problem is when the electric company's meter reader bumps your electric bill up because you're not running your furnace this year. Because, in Georgia, it's kind of a short winter. And you're prepared for that. If you check my levels last year, you would see it was kind of lower than what it is this year. Though I've heard of the raise, but at the same time, I'm not using any furnaces. I got little space heaters, and they're not that big, by the way. Right. So there shouldn't be as much electric bill as I'm having. Right. And the problems with the meter reader, he don't believe, or she don't believe I'm not using this much electricity, right? It's what it is, because it's winter. And he's cold, I guess, so I must be cold now. See, I only run the heaters at night, not during the day either, right? I turn them off, of course. I run them from like 11 to 8. And that really wouldn't burn a lot of electricity either, right? And my bills are normally low, between $50 to $125 normally anyway. Now this month is $155 suddenly, right? And that's got to be because the meter reader is bumping up my meter, right? It's the only reason to explain it, because last month it was $115, right? Now it's $155. Come on. Now, someone was asking me about all this the other day. Anyway, my bills. Well, like I told them, my house payment is $929. My car payment is $778, and insurance for both is $325 right now. Again. And now if I'm in another wreck, it might go up again. a little bit. But again. That's because, again, people don't care, right? And you don't care because you're selfish, right? Now, I'm struggling because of the disability since 94, but you don't care about that. I'm struggling because I went mentally ill in 93, and I'm the kind of person that if I hear something from God, I'm going to tell you, right? Or I would consider that lying. But if I didn't hear something from God, I, of course, can't tell you, right? But there again, if I have a dream and I'm trying to interpret it, and all I have is the Bible to interpret it by, I would think I was wanting to do witnesses by that dream, huh? Right. But I don't need anyone to speak to me about it. Not even God necessarily, if the Bible is his spoken word throughout or written word, not nothing else, right? And spoken word in a way, right? See, the prophets are also supposed to have spoken these words, and they were written down by their scribes or their contemporaries, right? And they're supposed to have, done so while the prophet was prophesying, right? Even Isaiah is supposed to have had a scribe to write down what he said. He's not just supposed to say it alone. There's supposed to be also a scribe to write it out, right? By the way. And that's what we mean, right? You don't want to read all the materials on dealing with this stuff, and then some people who are reading it start understanding it more, but then you still don't want to understand it, right? That's the whole problem, right? You're staying where you're at what's called a comfort level here, right? You're comfortably numb, right? You know what the song means by Floyd. Hello. Is there anybody in there? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? I don't know. There's no pain you are proceeding. And that's of course comfortably numb, right? By Pink Floyd, right? But just another little impersonation to make a point, right? Are we all just trying to be comfortably numb here, or are we all ready to face the return of the Master, right? The maker of heaven and earth, right? He's coming back, even if it's another 1,000 years. We just don't know. All we know is sometime in the third day he will raise us up, right? Who believe, whether just or unjust, after a millennial reign of Christ, which could be another 2,000 years for them, right? And then he talks the 10 days of tribulation, which could be another 2,000 years. That's 4,000 years, by the way, until everything is straightened out in a way. And now, what do you do with people in the meantime if they're not wanting to come where you are, yet you only have 1,000 years with the just, and then you have to deal with the unjust still? Mm-hmm. And you're not trying to harm anyone, any living soul. Mm-hmm. And you're the God of the whole world, or the whole planet, or the whole planets, even. There's 2 estates, and thus say a day is as 1,000 years there, and 1,000 years here is as a day, right? And vice versa. The planet could be what we call 1,000 light years away, huh? Maybe. I don't know. But there again, does that even make sense to you, some of you scientists? Right? That's why I'm trying to deal with it all. Science, religion, right? Here a little, there a little. Here a lot, there a lot, right? Everything I've heard, actually, right? Whether it's perfectly true or not. Even a half-truth is better than no truth at all, but still, half the truth is half the truth, right? If there's something you can't deal with because it's more by hearing than by sight, well, maybe your issue is hearing more than sight, right? And the same thing about seeing, right? If you don't want to see something to believe it, you can't see it to believe it either, right? But you got to see to believe. Faith is by hearing. Belief is when you receive what you have gathered by faith, right? And you actually get the promise you were promised by faith and belief, right? See, that's when the belief in the faith is manifested, when you actually get, say, a healing or a miracle in your life, right? Like a car wreck in a 3-story fall would be a miracle today, right? Period, for anyone, right? And anyone who was in one and was out the hospital in 2 days would want to talk about it, whether you like it or not, right? That don't mean they're a perfect person, but they're not as bad as you want them to be at the same time. But nor are they just out to hurt people either, right? If they're not that bad, they're just not that bad, and you're just trying to make them that bad when they're not that bad, and that's the problem too, right? That's called slander, right? Slandering someone ain't nice neither, but there again. These are things we all need to work on as the planets and the orbits and the all that align again for whatever's going on, right? So wherever Jesus is, he wants us there, but we don't want to go there, but we don't trust it, right? But again, right, a day there is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as a day here. Or does that mean it's simply put 1,000 light years away? I don't know. I'm trying to answer a question by making a suggestion or a theory. Right. That could be part of it too. Or it's in a different, again, realm or reality, right? A 4th dimension compared to the dimension we're in, right? That's another possibility too, right? And some of the angels are misleading us, right? When they came into the flesh and may have lied to us about where they really from. And that could be true too. We don't know, right? But all we know is here we can do each other right and wrong at the same time, and act like we don't even know what we're doing most of the time, and I admit that for myself. But if I did do something right or wrong, someone influenced me unduly, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I did the best I could in the situation, right? You can do that to someone too, which is called entrapment here, right? And if you're entrapping someone here, you were confused by someone who was confused about him, and then they confused you about him, and then you did something wrong with him too, right? You can't do that either. And that's the problem too, right? So here it goes again.